Coming in at sixth place here, we have the Washington Wolves. This will probably be a very quick video just because they don't really have any players that consistently showed up for them. They come in at sixth, went 9-8 last year. I gave them the Texans as a comparison. I feel like they were definitely an up-and-coming team, definitely a very surprising team. And MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year, I went with Jay McLeod. He definitely stepped up as a leader on this team. He was the quarterback. He put up the most defensive stats. I don't know if he got an interception, but I think he was the league leader in sacks and had nearly 30 tackles, which was up there with the league leaders. Offense and defense, I feel about that they were about equal. So I went with an 84 on each, definitely right around average, if not slightly below. Coaching, I went with a 78. I mean, Jay McLeod definitely stepped up as a leader. But Darren was supposed to be the owner of this team. He didn't really end up taking much of a leadership role, which I can respect. I don't really like to be in leadership roles that much either. But Jay McLeod will probably be the acting manager for now. Don't really know what's going to be next for them after this season because I believe Jay McLeod graduates. Anyway, went with 78 there. Overall, an 82. I feel like that's pretty fair. They were about league average, maybe slightly above, maybe slightly below. B- at quarterback. Jay McLeod was quarterback most of the time, I feel like, just because it's what Washington needed out of him. They didn't really have a better option there. They definitely rotated through quarterbacks. But B-, I feel like you can do better. He's definitely good, but I feel like he could offer the offense more other ways. Definitely really athletic and good. I could see him playing a good running back. Went with B- at receiver. You do have Brandon Carty. You do have Jay McLeod mixing in, but there's just not a lot of depth there. Moving into 4-on-4, I feel like the Wolves are definitely going to struggle unless we can find them more consistent players. Tight end, I went ahead and gave them a B-. I feel like Darren's pretty good, but other than that, you don't really have any size on offense. I do feel like they do have one of the more solid tight ends in the league, though. Darren, very sure-handed, pretty much catches everything. D-line linebacker, went with a B-. I feel like I was a little harsh there. They definitely were solid at stopping the run. It's just kind of the lack of depth that hurts this team. Went with C+ at corner. They really struggled to stop the pass at times. Another B- at safety just because they were decent at stopping the run. And who else to start off with here other than Jay McLeod? Went with Bryce Young as a player comparison on offense, and some people may think that's an insult. Personally, I'm hoping he doesn't because I know he's a college football guy, and anyone who's a college football fan is not going to just jump off the Bryce Young train. I mean, we know how good he is. We know what he did in college. I feel like the only people really saying that Bryce Young sucks and being like, oh, you should have taken C.J. Stroud, didn't watch any college football and don't really know what this guy was like in college. Anyway, I feel like they're really comparable because they don't have the strongest arms, but you can kind of depend on them for accuracy, and they're pretty good on the move, mobile. Went with an 85 overall at quarterback. Like I said, he's good. You can win games with him, but I feel like you could use him elsewhere and just be better, which obviously that can't be said for Bryce Young. He's a quarterback through and through, but talking in a BFL sense, I feel like you could benefit more from this guy at running back, receiver. We'll see what they end up doing with him. But could be a solid quarterback and could win games if that's what they ask him to do. Defense, went with Talanoa Hufanga. Great run-stopping safety, great box safety, which we saw in times that he was asked to rush the passer or times that he was in run defense, but can step out and play really physical and good coverage when you need him to. Next up, we have Brandon Carty. He came onto the scene in I think it was week 4 against my team. It was week 4 because they were playing against the Tigers. I remember that more now. That was a rough series for us, and he was probably part of the reason that it was. Great defender, great on offense. He really took over in their playoff game. Unfortunately, they came up short. I feel like a lot of people were rooting for them just because of how much of an underdog they were. Gave him 98 speed. Up there with the fastest in the league. That could easily be 99 once I see more out of him. 95 overall, Jalen Waddle comparison, just because he can really do it all. I mean, route running's great speed, catching's there. On defense, I gave him a Jair Alexander comparison just because so athletic, tight coverage, I mean, he can really do whatever you need him to, and I'm excited to see what he can bring in year 2 when he's playing a full season. Next up, we have Darren Pelletier here. I think that's how you say it. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Really sure-handed tight end, one of the better ones in the league. I mean, I gave him Cole Kmet as a player comparison just because they both kind of lack athletically, but they make up for it with their catching. I mean, he's exactly what you look for in a tight end, just sure-handed, solid route runner, not really that fast, but I mean, every time you target him, he's really going to make the catch. Just kind of a nice safety net that Jay McLeod had playing quarterback. Darren played some QB too, but I elected to give Jay McLeod their quarterback position just because he played there more. Defense, really sure-handed tackler, but wasn't too great in man coverage. We will see what they do to address that position going forward. Next couple players are just going to be covered really briefly. They barely even played for the team. Each only came to one series, and in the case of Malik Hendricks, he only played in the playoff game. He was just at one series, so I gave them the pass on the rule that you need to play in a series to play in the playoffs. They really needed it. I think they only had 3 or 4 guys. Anyway, so did not even see him on offense as far as I know, so I just went pretty conservative with his ratings. I know he's fast. I know he's athletic. I think this rating could easily go up. That's why I went with a Tank Dell player comparison, as well as Deonte Banks on defense. Definitely really fast and athletic, but there's just more to be seen before the ratings can be higher, which I think can also be said with Tank Dell and Deonte Banks. Great rookie years out of both of them in the NFL, but definitely more to be seen. And finally, here we have Ed Romani, and my God, do I have a crazy story for you. I was talking to Jay at their last game. I don't know if it was their playoff game or the end of the regular season against us, but he told me that Ed, in the one series he played to, he fell on his shoulder and dislocated it and then continued to play. Unfortunately, we didn't see more of him in the season, but that was one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And I've been doing BFL for 5 years now? That was just insane to hear. He didn't play very much, like I said, so kind of the same deal as Malik Hendricks. Just went conservative with the ratings, gave him 2 rookies that are very promising. Some may say that Quentin Johnston isn't promising, but come on, he is. He's a rookie. Just cut him some slack. These casual NFL fans just always hate on these rookies that are just coming into the league. Like, sure, they're a first-round pick. You should have some expectations, but come on. They're not going to go for 1,000 yards in every single instance. Like, give them some break. Let them learn from, in Quentin Johnston's case, 2 veteran wide receivers that are very good and have been for a long time. That's enough about the NFL. The reason I went with Quentin Johnston for his particular player comparison out of all these great rookie wide receivers we see in the NFL this year, he's got a big frame. Didn't see much route running, but when he was targeted, I mean, he had really good hands. I believe he made 1 catch way down the field, and I was pretty impressed by that. Also pretty fast for his size. And same deal with Christian Gonzalez, just very athletic for his size, and definitely excited to see more out of him this coming season. Hopefully you are feeling better from your dislocated shoulder. Now that is it for the Washington Wolves. Cannot wait to see what they have in store this next season. Definitely pretty hard to say. Honestly, I don't know if expanding to 4 will hurt them. I would imagine it would, but they've surprised me in the past. I mean, we'll just see. They definitely are in free agent talks with some people. I have a few people that they might be interested in signing. Excited to see what they've got in store, man. And thank you for listening once again. Make sure to subscribe because we will be back with a rating video for every single team. And thank you for listening.